Now let's learn how to prepare creditors account. Creditors means the people from whom we have purchased the goods on credit basis. These are basically our suppliers, credit suppliers. Creditors account is a liability account. It is always shown on the liability side of the balance sheet. Means the closing balance of creditors account is shown on the liability side of the balance sheet. Creditor account is a personal account. It always carries credit balance. Means the credit side total is always greater than the total of debit side. One thing more, if any account carries credit balance, it means if you put any amount on the credit side, it will increase the value of creditor. If you debit the creditor account, it will decrease the value of creditor account in the balance sheet. If any account carries credit balance, it means the opening balance is always on credit side. So in creditors account, the opening balance is always on credit side. If opening balance is on credit side, the closing balance must be on the debit side. So one thing more, BD and CD, I am to say opening balance and closing balance, always they are at the corners. BD is on the top corner and CD is on the bottom corner. So let's prepare the format of creditors account. On credit side, first of all, buy balance BD. And let's recall the series of transactions related to creditors account. First of all, when we buy the goods on credit basis from creditors, what is the journal entry? Purchases account debit to creditors, means creditors account is credited. So on credit side, buy purchases account. In the bracket, credit, or in the inner column, you should write down credit purchases. Then, if you don't like the goods, if you return the goods, what will be the journal entry? Creditors account debit to purchases returns account. So on debit side, to purchases returns account. If you pay cash to the creditors, the journal entry is creditors account debit to cash account. So on the debit side, to cash account. If you give any check or if you give any electronic transfer to the creditors, what will be the journal entry? Creditors account debit to bank account. If you give any bill of exchange to the creditor, means BP, then the journal entry will be creditors to BP account. So on the debit side, write down to BP account. You can write down bills accepted in the inner column. If the check is dishonored, means you issued the check and that check was not cleared. So what will be the journal entry? By bank account. In the inner column, check dishonored. If the bill of exchange is dishonored, the journal entry is BP account debit to creditors. So by BP account. In the inner column, bills dishonored. And one thing more, you have to write down by noting charges. If we receive any discount from the supplier, the journal entry is creditors account debit to discount account. So on the debit side, to discount account. And at the corner, to balance CD. This is the closing balance. So this will be the format of creditors account. You must remember all the items. I strongly recommend you to write this format in your notebook, I mean to say rough notebook, at least 4 or 5 times, so that you can memorize all this transaction. Then it will become quite easy for you to find the missing figures in your examination.